Hey everyone, this is CyberGamer814 and welcome to episode 3 of our Seaopolis Let's Play. And in this episode, we're going to be doing some building and some more building, a little bit of rearranging, and getting started with our Tinker's Construct smeltery. Let's check it out. Alright, so we have updated the pack to the most recent version. Uh, didn't do a whole lot of changes as far as the pack itself goes. Most of it was bug fixes, some quest changes. They did make it to where the sieves are stackable. So now if you have more than one, they'll stack on top of each other, which actually helps with crafting a bunch. So that's a nice little addition. They also added the mods, chisel and bits. For any of you builders out there, those are really cool mods for decorative ideas and texturing. But I have been doing some work off camera. If you didn't notice my inventory, I had a few things. So we have started the base. I wanted to kind of bring you in and give you a little update on how it's looking so far. This is one side. It's definitely going to be going that way. Uh, not quite as far as it's going to end up getting. We're going to go much further that way. Um, Probably another 4 of these that way, and then we'll have the same thing over here. Um, Probably gonna have different rooms going off in different directions. My idea for it is more of a underwater laboratory modern type look, so we'll see how it turns out. But pretty excited for it. I did have to keep gathering up some resources. This is a lot of concrete, but that is a useful thing about being in the ocean. Water's everywhere. So I was actually able to use the concrete powder to place all this, and that way it would harden instantly while it had water around it. But there is a way to automate concrete using this barrel in most packs by just having a hopper attached to it, just having the powder go into the barrel, it'd get converted with the water in the barrel and then come out hardened. But it's actually locked in this pack uh, to actually make hardened concrete. You have to use the chemical injection chamber for a mechanism or the fluid encapsulator from thermal expansion. Thermal expansion will be pretty early. This is probably the first machine mod we'll be getting into anyways. So here pretty soon I'll be able to actually automate making concrete. Any modifications I've needed to make or anything like that. Just come over here, got my concrete powder, one hand, and my pickaxe, and just harden it the good old fashioned way. So it will be useful once we get some power and some machines in. Won't have to do that so much. But I wanted to kind of give you an update and let y'all see what I've been working on. Pretty much made zero progress in the pack. We are almost done with this challenge quest, which will give us the chisel that I was telling you about. And then we'll be able to actually start using that. Tinkers will be next. I do still want to, like I was saying last episode, I want to get a room for Tinkers due to the size of the smeltery. That way it's got its own section for making all the tools. And the challenge quests here we're pretty much done. Terracotta, can't make that until we get the smeltery. Seared bricks are used for the smeltery, and an oak crucible, that's an easy craft. But I'm going to do some more building, get some more stuff going as far as the size of the base, get some room and some space going. I'm going to have to tear all of this down and move these. The drawers are going to get moved, but I want to make sure that that was a scary shark. Yes, multiple deaths occurred in the process of this building. I also had a friend of mine come in to help me out. He helped me with designing it, and he hopped in the world for a little bit to help me build a little bit more. But for now, I'm gonna get back to building, and I'll be back. I'm moving the base along, coming into our original starting glass dome we had here. Once I get past this back wall here, I do plan on tearing out all the terracotta and most of the glass here. We will have to move our machines, which I already have a plan for that. I plan on making a room over there for our early game automation. including these these little setups with the hoppers and furnaces. Then we'll have a little area over there for all of that. Did go ahead and get together our tinker room. So we're gonna have plenty of space for the smeltery. Ends up being about 9 by 9 in size. The actual smeltery is gonna be the 5 by 5. And we'll have it go all the way to the ceiling. But once you get all the tables and everything, it ends up being a bit bigger. And then we'll be able to have our tables over here. Possibly gonna put some other stuff in here, just due to the fact that it is a pretty good sized room, so we do have plenty of room to fill. But like I said, I wanted to give you a progress update and let you know where I'm at as far as the base build and kind of let you see as it gets built, but definitely wanted to let you see before I took all that stuff out and started rearranging everything. Okay, so I know I had mentioned kind of taking you along through this, but I didn't exactly want to make it take up an entire episode of just building. So I went ahead and kept going until I got to a spot where I was kind of comfortable as far as it being a good start. Definitely have a lot more work to do. A lot of concrete was made, which, like I said before, is made quite a bit easier by the fact that we're surrounded by water. But this will be kind of the main hallway. Quite a bit bigger than what I had before, which stopped right there. This was where our original glass sphere was. Kind of made it so you can still see the sky. Not sure if I'm going to keep this from the outside. It kind of makes it look like a submarine, which is not at all what I'm going for. Kind of attempting the underwater lab vibe, but definitely going to have a lot more texturing changes. I do want to put some windows in. Want to add some stuff to this hallway to kind of make it more than just a floor. The circles are obviously not finished. I ran out of black ink, and then as you can see, I ran out of cyan dye as well. So we ended up raiding the bone structure that's right next to the base to get plenty of bone meal and get the white dye that I needed, so that way I could get quite a bit of concrete made, because this was quite the effort. A lot of deaths occurred while building this. Those angry sharks are quite the hassle. But I left this room filled with water because I did want to show y'all how I've been clearing out all this space of the water so easily. The strainers do produce sponges for you, but the sea bucks that we've been getting from the quest rewards, if you go all the way down to the bottom of the quest, you can actually go to the shop. And right here, there's a powered sponge on a stick, and this actually already comes supplied with RF. And you can see I've only used 10,300 RF off of this, and I've cleared out all of this area. I wanted to kind of show you, you just right click, and it just clears out the whole area. One thing you do want to make sure you have torches on you, because if you get too far away, you'll definitely start getting mob spawns. You want to light the area up, you're all good. I do have F7 to try and make sure I don't miss any red spots. But this room right here is the one I plan on using as kind of my central room. But gonna be the room where I'm gonna be sleeping. I'll have some crafting in here, crafting tables, some chests and stuff. It seemed like a good central location given the layout that we've got going so far. Down here, which is gonna be a mini hallway that attaches back to there. And I'm gonna have some more rooms. I'm gonna have another room there, room here, some more rooms here for different machine areas. Kind of try and separate the mods, maybe separate magic mods in certain rooms. This is the automation room, and this is going to change as well. I've got a little crafting setup. I've got strainers set up with the water, so these have been producing. I've already set them up and kind of AFK a little bit. The sieves are right here. I put the floppers in barrels. So I'm using these trapdoors to kind of get me up here to look. But I set it up. Let me get a block real quick. That way I can kind of show you. I have to break this anyways. So I made this kind of, I don't even know what kind of shape you'd call this. little triangle shape, so that way anytime these hoppers suck up water, there's always two solid water blocks to refill it and make it an infinite source block above the flopper. So using this, I was able to I was trying to make it as compact as I could. So I'm able to use these trapdoors. I can get up here to access the barrel, stick the items I need in here, and then down here is where the items will come out. For right now, I've just been using it for clay, but later on we'll have other items that we're going to be making through that process. Yeah, I just put this there, and if I ever need to do some maintenance, thanks to 116, I can come up under here if I need to check and see if something random got put in the hoppers or anything like that. And it also allows me to kind of just take a peek over the top, be able to access the barrels. Right here, we've got the furnaces and the blast furnaces. We've got the resource producing automation. I got that set back up. We've got our smooth stone gravel, our other rocks, and our sand right here. Here is our leaf making setup. And then right here, we have our lava making setup. I've already got some crushed granite in there, going through the hoppers, so anytime we need lava, I can just grab it from here. Later on, we'll be able to automate that a little better once we're actually able to use pipes instead of hoppers. And then right here is a trash can. Yeah, definitely needed that. Inventory problems. And this will probably stay about the same. I don't think I'm going to be adding much more to it. Like I said, I want to kind of keep a room with the early game automation stuff, but somewhere where you can just generate and keep going. This way is going to be our little round corner. There won't be anything out there. So we've got these little, I do kind of like how they look, but we'll see. The roof is going to change. The white concrete was, not going to lie, the easiest block to make, but at the same time, I do want most of the base, probably about 60 to 70% of the base to be out of white concrete anyways. And then we can use building gadgets and different stuff like that to exchange what we need easily. This is 100,000,000% temporary, but I needed to have a little storage room for the drawers because I definitely didn't want them sitting in the middle out there. But this front part of the hallway will be our storage room, but it'll be much bigger. I just haven't quite set my mind on how I'm gonna build it or like how it's gonna look because I'm trying to add a little variation. I don't want the rooms to be all the same. So we have our Tinker's room, which is circular. I'll have a greenhouse type room over here, and it'll be circular, similar to the Tinker room. Probably gonna make it a bit bigger. That way it allows us to have multiple farms. But yeah, this is the base progress so far. And now I've actually finally gotten to a point where I'm like, okay, I've got stuff in rooms, I've got space for new stuff. We can go ahead and continue on with the quest, and we are working on the Tinkers. So I do want to go ahead and get the Tinker smelter rebuilt. I did go ahead and make the grout and smelt the seared bricks. And show you real quick. This seared heater, it's needed because you have to actually use it later on. But this is how you use coal instead of lava to power your smelter. So I'm just gonna, if you highlight over it, press A, it'll say the recipe up here to the left. I don't need that stuff anymore. Okay, so we'll make the seared heater first. And this will allow us to use coal to melt down metals such as copper, tin, and iron. The seared melter is where the stuff actually gets melted. And this actually needs a tank, so we'll need glass, which I have a little bit of the clear glass in there, so that'll work just fine. We can make the tank and then make the seared melter. And this would actually get placed on top of the seared heater. The other option instead of the seared heater is the seared fuel tank. And this actually allows you to use lava instead of coal to melt metals. And again, the seared melter would just be placed on top of the tank, and as soon as you stick lava in the tank, it'll work. And I'll be able to show you that here in a little bit. The seared faucet, it used to only make one at a time. Now it makes two, which I think is pretty cool. We got the table, casting table, and the casting basin. That's definitely casting table again. Casting basin. Okay. So I'm gonna run over to the tinker's room and start putting this stuff together. As I was getting the materials, lava and coal, I realized I didn't explain how we're going to start getting metals. Once you end up upgrading your sieves to the flint mesh, you can use red sand and regular sand in the mesh, and they will give you nickel and copper, and then regular sand will give you tin and copper. And so this is how we're going to get our first metals, and then we'll use them in the smelter. It's the first time I've seen it. Red sand. But we use them in the melter, and it'll melt it down and allow us to get metals. They start out and come in these little pieces. There's a mod in the pack that actually allows you to compact items using the K key. So if you mouse over and press K, it'll compact them into the chunks from the 4 pieces, which normally are crafted like that. Either way, I normally just kind of mouse over and press K just so I can quickly get the chunks, but I wanted to go over that with y'all real quick, just to kind of show you. So here's the heater. Stick charcoal in there, and then when you stick a metal in there, it'll actually start melting it for you. The melter does give you a little bit extra. It doesn't quite double it, so you get 3 nuggets extra per chunk that you melt on top of the ingot. When you make the big smelter, it will actually double the ores, and you'll get 2 per chunk. So we're going to smelt up some of this. So now, fill that with lava, and it'll do the same thing. Now the way to get the copper out of there, you use these faucets. We'll put one on either side. And you have the seared casting table, and you have the casting basin. Basin is how you can smelt out blocks. We don't have a block of copper yet, so we'll have to smelt out ingots. The way to get ingots, that'll work. So if you stick 1 piece of sand, you can actually get a blank sand cast. It works with the red or the regular sand. If you place the blank cast on here by right-clicking, and then you right-click any kind of brick, it can be brick from clay, it can be these seared bricks, it could even be an ingot. And when you go to cast it out, okay, I apologize. You right click it to pull it out, and you'll have your cast. If you had a hopper underneath, it would just pull it out, so it would just come out of cast, and then you can actually cast out your ingot. Now these are one-time use. The ingot that you use to make it, as you can see, you don't lose, but the casting itself, you do. So we'll go ahead and make some ingots, get some metals going, and that way we can get started on the full-size tinker smelter and break all this back down. The first thing we'll need for the tinker smelter is the controller. So if you hover over and hit U, we can look at the casting basin. Pouring 4 ingots of copper over the seared heater, which is the one that does the solid, will actually give you the smeltery controller. I've got 4 ingots in here. We'll right click it into the basin, and then we'll right click the faucet to pour the ingots over. It does take a little longer to harden than that did, but it shouldn't take too long. And then we can go ahead and start getting all the parts together. There's our controller, yay! Start getting all the parts together to actually form the full smeltery. Go ahead and get that going. Here is our Tinker's smeltery. In the 1.16 version of Tinker's, they also updated the drains. So the drains look like this. The controller got updated with the added copper. They also added the seared chute. So instead of using the drain to input stuff, you use this chute. And then they also have the seared duct, and that's how you'll get fluids in and out. Instead of having to stick a solid item in, you can stick a fluid. Like if you were trying to make obsidian, you could stick lava and water in using those. And then you still have the seared drains, the basin, and the casting table. So we'll put our power source in there, and that should form the multi-block. And so now we have access to our Tinker's smeltery. Now the size of it does determine how much space you have available to stick in here. Now right now we have decent amount due to the fact that it's a 5x5 and it's already too tall. Every layer we add on top of it will just make it be able to hold that much more ingots. I believe it, since it's 5x5, it starts out 25, so we can probably hold about 50. And all we have to do is add the 4 walls, and that'll automatically add another layer. So 20 blocks each time we want to go up a layer, which we will end up building it all the way up just to have space. We also get the added benefit. Oh, well, that says right there. Yeah, it's 50. And now we will get ore doubling. So this 50 will turn into 100 ingots. And we'll be able to start casting it out. There we go. And I'll just cast out blocks for now. Um, in that bone structure nearby, there was some gold in there, so I do want to head over there, probably in the next episode, and grab that up, and then we'll be able to use that gold to go ahead and get us some permanent casts, and then we won't have to worry about having to constantly make them with the sand. Alright, we definitely made a lot of progress this episode on the base. I'm really happy with how much work we got done. It took a lot of time, but it was definitely well worth it. Getting our smeltery going, so now we have ore doubling. We're actually starting to get into metals. Soon we'll be able to actually upgrade our tools, get us some armor. That's another thing. Those sharks killed me so many times. I don't have any armor. One of my statistics are mobs. Let's just show him. Thrasher killed you 14 times. More than likely, 12 of those happened while I was building this thing. They send out that noise you keep hearing in the background is them sending out like sonar circles, and so if you're in range and they happen to pass through you, they know exactly where you're at, and then they chase you down. They'll follow you through water and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely need to be able to upgrade our weapon and stuff. Next episode, I do want to go out and kind of check out what's around here. The only thing I've really seen is, like I said, we went to that bone structure. I haven't really gone too much further than that, but I did see a slime island, and slime boots would be awesome for getting back and forth on the base, because it's quite long, and running back and forth can get time consuming. And it is tall enough, so we should definitely have plenty of room. But if you like the video, if you wouldn't mind hitting that thumbs up button, and you can go ahead and let me down in the comments if you have any tips or tricks that you know about, or any ideas for the base, please let me know. I'm always open to check out new stuff. Kind of got an idea of the plan, so if you want to volunteer anything, let me know. And if you'd like to check the next episode, you can press the subscribe with the little bell to get notified. That way when the next one comes out, you'll know right away. And we will see you next time. Have a good one. Later.